Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our Parks and Recreation Advisory Board meeting for October 15th, 2025. I am calling the meeting to order currently with a +1, but we'll talk about that in a couple minutes. Everybody should have received a copy of the minutes, and that have been from September 10th, 2025. Did everybody get a chance to read them, look them over? Perfect. Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Okay, I have a motion. Do I have a second?
A second.
Second. All right. Is there any questions, concerns, anything that we need to discuss further? Okay. With nobody. All in favor then of approving our minutes from September 10th, please signify by stating aye. Aye.
Aye.
All in favor? Okay. Thank you. All right, so we have a new member with us tonight, Mr. Brian White. Thank you for joining us. Don't want to put you on the spot at all, but I will, if you want. First of all, thank you for volunteering to serve on our board, but if you wanted to just do a fast introduction and why you chose Parks and Recreation to serve on.
One of the first people I ran into when I moved to town 2021 was Lorna. She tried to freeze me up at the
That
Christmas
was
lighting.
the year, yes, yeah. Okay.
I learned my lesson there. But my daughter spent, I think, 100 years doing travel softball all over the country, so being involved in youth-type sports and things like that is of interest to me because I saw so many things I would like to correct.
Well, yeah.
Sure.
So thank you again for stepping up and being part of our board, and we're excited to have you. So thank you. All right. So on to unfinished business. So Lorena, you have a lot to talk about. So we'll start with the Memorial Park expansion project.
Yes, so Arrow, the engineer, resubmitted the site plans to State Highway and the County Forest Conservation on September 12th. State Highway is still reviewing. I think Arrow was supposed to check in with them this week to see where they are in that process. We did hear back from Forest Conservation today, and unfortunately, they disapproved both the Forest Conservation and the landscaping plan again. So some of the items that they noted in their, we'll call it a rejection letter, were some of the County Forest Conservation person's original comments. So I'm not sure why those have not yet been addressed, but I did go back to Arrow after we received that letter today and asked them how quickly they could make those corrections and resubmit to the county, and they said that they were working on them immediately and expediting that, so that's good. I'm hoping that State Highway comes back with an approval. Part of the delay on this process has been the inclusion of that sidewalk that goes from St. Joseph's down to our park property to pick up the proposed connector road. So I'm really hoping that that does go through so that we can move forward. At this point, I'm hoping fingers crossed, we can get this wrapped up by the end of the year as far as the site plan approvals. And then we'll need to get approval from our planning commission. We'll need to convey easement deeds for floodplain and forest conservation to the county, and then we can release an RFP. So best case scenario, that RFP might be released late winter, early spring, and then construction would be starting probably a month after that RFP is released once council awards the contract. And you all will be reviewing those bids received, and then we'll together formulate the recommendation to council for the contract award. Anticipating that with the timeline, if that works out, then they'll have all of the good weather months to work, and they may finish 6 to 8 months. hard to tell. There's going to be a lot of paving with those 2 large parking lots in the connector road, concrete for the sidewalks and the walking path, of course, all the field grading, the lights. I talked with Morton Buildings. They're ready to submit the contract to us and lock in the prices for the multipurpose building. And then once we sign that contract, then they'll start pulling permits so that they will be completely ready to go when the awarded contractor says, yeah, we're ready for you to put the building in. And they told me 3 months at the most from starting to lay the footers to handing us the keys. So that'll be nice. But the main delay between the project being completed and the fields being available for use is grass establishment, because these are going to be natural grass fields. We've got to have that grass firmly established up to a level where it can be somewhat resilient and durable. If it's barely growing out there and we let everybody start playing, it'll just be dirt in no time. So we've got to get that established. So, gosh, I would say the earliest they'd be able to use those fields would be spring of 27, maybe the fall of 27, depending on the timeline. Right now, we are basically in the hands of State Highway, Forest Conservation, and Aero, our engineer. It's been a very long process, as those of you who've been on the board for a while know. So, cross that things go smoothly now. That sidewalk is going to end up, I've been calling it the $1 million sidewalk, because with the cost increase, everything is going up, tariffs on materials and everything. So what was initially projected to be a $1.729 million project, I don't know. We shall see. I think the building alone is coming in at $900,000. So there goes our grant funding. We've got almost $1 million in grant funding, and that'll pay for either the building or the lights, depending on what price the lights come in at, because that's going to be the next most expensive component. So we shall see.
Do we have options for cost recovery there?
Well, as far as cost recovery, we may be eligible with the Land Water Conservation Fund grant to ask for an increase in our funding based on construction costs alone. They will not approve it if we've changed the scope from what was presented for the grant application, but if we prove that, look, the project was delayed through no fault of our own, and construction costs between 2022 and 2026, increased substantially, and this is the difference. That did occur with Bollinger. So we were able to get an additional, it was almost $80,000 on Bollinger. So hopefully.
So we have a not unreasonable chance at cost recovery.
Yeah,
You
again.
mentioned $900,000 for the building alone, but what was it originally at? Like, what's the difference?
500, 500 to 600. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. Materials, and then labor. Materials and labor. That's what we're looking at there. On that. Especially the materials, the tariffs. Put a hike in things.
Get an update on when State Highway might come back with any?
I have not heard back from Aero yet. They said that they were going to be following up with State Highway to see where they were in their review process, and if there was anything that Aero could do now, to start working on something if State Highway had any comments, but they haven't, I don't think they've heard, I haven't heard from Aero that they've heard back from State Highway.
Did they indicate when they got their comments back from State Highway with the rejection? Like, did that just happen? Did it happen weeks ago?
They received, so they resubmitted the plans to State Highway and County Forest Conservation on September 12th. And then the following week, they did get a few emailed comments from State Highway, which Aero then changed some things and sent them back to State Highway, and now we're just waiting. It's been radio silence from State Highway since then. So It's been what, a couple of weeks, 3 weeks maybe, since that's occurred. So hopefully, and we know how slowly things move, higher you go in the levels of government, so. But hopefully we'll have an answer on that shortly.
Anybody have any questions for Lorena on this project? It's complex, but. Okay. All righty. All right, general park improvements.
I don't have much to report on improvements in the parks at this time, but I do need to update you on the Memorial Park tot lot. I've provided you all with a picture. This is from Sykesville, and I gave you this picture because I'm going to loop Brian in on this as well, on air here, that a couple of things happened at the tot lot. A large tree limb fell from a storm in April that damaged the poured-in-place rubber surfacing and gouged it. So the original contractor who installed the playground and the surfacing was supposed to come back and repair that. They did not do it correctly. We asked them to come back out and fix it. There have been 2 other attempts, and it was taking so long that I just reached out to another company and had them come and take a look at it and said, can you fix this for us? And then the original contractor said, oh, our crew is going to be out this weekend, meaning this past weekend. And I replied back and I said, no, just cancel that, because we've already contracted with another company that's going to do it correctly this time. And, basically we're tired of playing around on this. So they said, okay, and then discovered that it had been done anyway, and incorrectly again. There are circles out there that, I don't know, it just looks like a bowl of grits. I mean, it's all wavy, and it's not smoothed at all. It's still soft, and just wasn't done correctly. So I told them that we would not be paying any invoices for this incorrect repair, and that, we appreciated their efforts, but, sorry it worked out the way it did.
That's to the original contractor or the second one?
Right, the
Okay.
original contractor, right. The other thing that happened out there was the dinosaur spring rocker that we had refurbished from the original playground and installed there. Someone broke it. It was, several people on it, somebody not using it properly or whatever, just sheared the shaft in half, so it had to be removed. So I have ordered a replacement piece from the different contractor that's coming in to do the correct repairs on the surfacing. So these things will be happening in the spring. The repair on the surfacing and also the installation of the new piece. The new piece is a sensory cocoon. It's basically just that, like a cocoon-like shape with whole windows in it, and it does spin, but it's on a solid shaft. So at least that won't be. Hopefully not. We'll see what happens with that. But in discussing with other municipalities, I was made aware that Hampstead and Sykesville have had problems with their surfacing as laid down by the contractor who originally installed ours. And the picture, as you can see, that's in Sykesville. The top 2 pictures are the failed areas of surfacing close-ups, and then this is basically, they use the same contractor for the patches that we're going to be using to do it, right? But look at that. Look at all of those failed areas where they had to put patches in. So I am hoping that that will not happen to us. We'll see. Time will tell. But I wanted to make you aware of that so that if we receive bids from that original contractor in the future, we take that into consideration when recommendation to council for a bid award. That's all I have on general park improvements and updates.
Any questions for Lorena thus far?
About like bees at one of the parks last time. I was at Roth with my grandson, and he was climbing up the rock wall, or the ladder in between the two rock walls, and bees started coming out of
Oh,
them.
oh my gosh.
I know. And of course I screamed, and then.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't horrible, but if somebody could like.
I was just out there yesterday, did all the park and playground inspections yesterday. I don't know, that's weird. It's that
It
time
could
of
have
year
been-
too.
I know they're crazy this time
Yes.
of year too.
Yes, they
so
are.
We just picked the wrong
Not
day, the
sure.
wrong bees, and
Right. Oh dear. Yeah.
so we left.
They do like playground equipment, or we used to have problems with them in the pavilions because they would get in and go down, build nests down into the concrete, the cinder block columns. We just had them at the grandstand a couple of weeks ago that we had to have someone come out and take a look at. I know we've had ground hornets out at Roberts Mill, and it's
I've never had that
constant
before. It was
battle.
just, it was.
yeah. Yeah, underneath that playground equipment, you've got all those little nooks and crannies, and they love to build their little wasp nests and
Right.
bees nests in there. So we always try to keep an eye on that because we certainly don't want anybody getting stung. Yeah.
Someone asked me if there's a plan to get some kind of a crosswalk at Roberts Mill Park. So like where I'm talking about, if you're going in by car, you have the sidewalk right there, then the parking lot, and then it goes directly into the parking lot in the loop. Like they were asking if there's going to be some kind of a crosswalk from like where the sidewalk ends, I guess, to where the loop around. What I'm talking
Is
about?
it from the bridge? Are you talking about from the bridge?
No,
or
not
something?
from the bridge.
Not
So
on the
like,
Keenan Street side, but on
Okay.
the Roberts Mill Road side where you
Yeah.
go into the main parking lot.
Okay.
That's
So a
right.
crosswalk from,
Yeah, from like where the sidewalk ends, like you've got the little storm drain there,
Mm-hmm.
and then it just goes directly into, the road and the parking lot.
Mm-hmm.
Is
it's a possibility, it's something I could ask Public Works about.
yeah,
Are people having problems with traversing?
a couple
that
people have
area?
asked, yeah, because
Oh, yeah.
people zoom in and out of that little thing. So I don't know
Yeah.
if that would be helpful or if that was already on the books.
I'll make a note to ask them about that.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been watching those lights.
They are iffy. They're like, they're random, I feel like.
We've been having a heck of a time with the timer control box. Even with like trying to program it, because it's dark in that, it's located in that little pump house. Yeah, so our guys have to get in and get down in there and, flashlight or their phones or whatever, and then, try to get that programmed. So I know they were trying to tweak that quite a bit, so, and I've been checking it. I check the security camera footage in the morning. And then that's one of the things that I check is, okay, let me see nighttime, the pond view, and the fountain. Okay, I see the lights going on and all, so, yeah, not sure, but, and we are gonna have to adjust it again with the time change coming up. It's gonna get darker earlier.
All right. Update on 2025 events.
Right, so Birds and Bourbon at Bollinger is coming up this Saturday at Bollinger Park from 3 to 5:30 p.m. And we've sold 12 tickets as of this morning out of the 20 spots. Last year, we kept it to 15 spots. This year, we thought, well, we'll expand it to 20 because we can accommodate that for parking. So there's still some tickets left. I know my husband and daughter, they're waiting to see if they sell out. If they don't, then they're gonna buy a couple of tickets. Always rely on those family members, yes. So we're looking forward to that, and the weather looks like it's gonna be nice, so hopefully that'll go off well. And they've got some nice bourbons. Eagle Rare, Taylor, E.H. Taylor, 10-year. I'm not a bourbon aficionado, so I'm not sure, but my husband, he said they're all good. If you say so.
You're like, okay,
Right.
we'll go with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you get the raffle ticket to take one of them home. Last year we had the Blantons, which is the big collectible. It's got a racehorse on the top of the lid and everything. And oh boy, they were excited with that raffle. That was the first raffle, and that was the first choice. I want that Blanton's. It was cute. But yeah. So hopefully that'll go off well. Tales of Taneytown and Trunk or Treat, that's going to be on the 25th at Memorial Park from 3 to 5. Email I sent out to you guys, if anybody, I know Denise, you're working, so your schedule doesn't allow, and Kathy, I've got you signed up to be a judge and to help. Anybody else want to be a judge? I've got Commissioner Vigliotti, I've got the mayor, I've got Jody Narawansky with Thunderhead. She's doing the trunk or treat, but she's going to take a break and come over and do the judging. So if anybody else is available and would like to judge for the contest, let me know. I'll put you down. It's a fun and cute event. You know, sometimes it's a hard choice too.
Very hard.
Choosing those first, second, and third place winners in each of the categories. Yeah. So I don't know. Would you be interested?
Let me check with my wife. We might be doing something with the baby.
Okay, gotcha. Let me know if you're interested, and we can go from there. Or if you don't want to judge, if you have a couple of hours just to help out at the registration table and handing out the certificates and such, let me know. That's fine. Photography contest is still open. That deadline is November 1st, so people have a couple more weeks on that. I'm going to send all of those photos in a compiled document to you all for judging. You're going to pick a top prize overall in all categories, and then you're going to pick in each of the 3 categories, nature, action, and play, a first and second prize in each of those categories. We've really received some good entries so far this year, really good. Nature seems to be the most popular category for people to submit with. And Halloween decorating contest, that deadline is today. We have 13 houses entered. I will need volunteers from the board. If I could maybe divvy those addresses up, like keeping the ones that are closest to each other in a group, and then if y'all could go out, preferably in the evening, because a lot of this stuff would light up displays or whatever, and take a picture and email it to me, then I'll compile all of those pictures into a document, email it out to everybody, and y'all will judge. And you're part of the, you'll be a judge as well. Yeah, so you're gonna choose a first, second, and third place out of those pictures, out of those 13. Look for that email. I'll probably send that out tomorrow.
Are
to
you
y'all.
doing like scary? Whatever. it
Just,
is, whatever.
I guess, you can consider maybe, I don't know, most effort put forth. Whatever strikes you as like, oh my gosh, that is amazing, kind of thing. So,
Is it like a ranked choice? Like, these are my top 4?
yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yes. And then we just go with the consensus of how they're ranked. And I think that's it for events until the December 6th tree lighting. We can talk about that next month. That's all I have on the events.
Any questions for Lorena? All right, additional miscellaneous updates?
As I stated earlier, park and playground inspections have been conducted. I did that yesterday, and the work list has been provided to Public Works. The fall list always seems to be a little longer than the spring list, just because the parks are in heavier use during the summertime. And of course, vegetation, the weeds and everything grows like crazy over the summer. So there's always a lot of trimming up to do and all of that good stuff. So they're going to start tackling that in the coming weeks. Get that all squared away. Oh, and that number 1 is that portion of the trail at Bollinger. That's
Okay.
the edge of it is
That's
kind of
starting to
cracked.
crumb-
Yes,
yeah.
exactly, on the way down to the junction where the
Yep.
deer is. Yes, so because they need to get out there and get that fixed up before the temperature drops too much. Yeah. And that's all I have on miscellaneous updates.
Wanted to give a shout out to Public Works. Thanks again, guys.
Yes,
I
they
know
do.
Lorena's keeping you busy, so.
Yeah, they do an
But we
amazing
do
job.
appreciate your hard work on the parks.
Wonderful.
All right, so if we don't have anything additional to jump in with, let's go to new business. So it's really post-event discussion, so let's talk discussion of Harvest Fest.
Yep. It was held on Saturday, September 27th at Memorial Park. I think it went well. There were a decent number of attendees despite the iffy weather. I mean, it was chilly. It was kind of sprinkly there for a little bit, but regardless, I think it went well, and the weather always affects attendance, but we had a good turnout, and everybody had a great time. So it was a good day. I've provided the profit loss sheet for everyone. We budgeted $6,500 for the festival, and we used $4,469.68 of that, which left us $2,030.32 that we did not need to use. So that's good. That can go towards other events and such. The collected vendor fees this year of $1,330 helped offset that, so that's good. Just as a reference, last year we also budgeted $6,500 and we used $5,163.58 because we only got really $820 in vendor fees. Last year was not a flush year, so we did much better this year. And Kathy was there helping to volunteer, aside from the little kitten that was trapped in one of the vendors' cars underneath it, and which was rescued, everyone, by the Humane Society and fostered out now. Cute little tuxedo kitty. What was your impression of it overall?
I thought that everybody was enjoying themselves. When I walked around and talked to the vendors, there was a lot of compliments about how, check-in went, how things was going. Most people were very happy with the amount of people coming in, especially because of the rain. And the kids just seemed to be having a great time.
This ponies and the petting zoo and the bounce houses and the face painters, they're just big draw. They love having those things there. So.
Variety of vendors also. It wasn't like everybody was selling the same things. There was many items there. So that was also, I think, kept people around.
Yes, yeah. I think it was overall a nice event. What was your impression, Nick, when you were there?
We had a great time. A lot of what we had to end up doing was playing in the tot lot with the baby, but
Yeah.
bought some vegetables from the veggie producer, and my wife and brother-in-law's family were walking around while I was dealing with the baby on the tot lot. So
Well, I'm glad you all were able to make it out. Thanks for joining us.
fun.
Yeah. Anybody have any other discussion or thoughts or anything like that from the Harvest Festival?
Oh, all right.
Able to address the difficulty we had with the traveling baseball?
Yes. They apologized often, profusely, for the mix-up. The travel team coach said, oh, whoops, he was aware of the blackout. He completely forgot about it, and it accidentally scheduled the games there. So I don't know if you were aware of that when the travel team coach had scheduled a couple of makeup games for the same day as the Harvest Festival. So they were coming in, as our vendors were coming in to check in, so we were like, hold on. So I was able to contact a couple of people on the board, and they were able to switch the games over to FSK, so people, could still play the games, but obviously not, at the park, because while we didn't need Field 1, which is where the games were scheduled, we needed that back area that they were going to use for parking for our hay rides. That was the route for the hay rides. So, but it all worked out, so it seemed to be okay. There were initially a couple of ruffled feathers, by one individual in particular, but I think that's all been resolved now.
All right, post-event discussion of the Gifts and Gratitude Walk.
Yeah, so that was also well received. That was held on October 11th at Bollinger Park from 10 to, I think it was 11:30 in the morning. We had 11 participants in that, and that was basically, just to reiterate the gist of the event, it was 15 minutes guided meditation in the beginning, then a self-guided meditative gratitude walk throughout Bollinger, and then regathering in the open area in the front for sharing those thoughts of gratitude and such. So all the participants loved it. They want more. So the event itself only cost us $135. And that included the free mala bead, well, they were free to us, but the mala bead sets that we gave to participants. So I would like to offer that again next year, twice, actually, one in the spring and one in the fall. I don't know, how do y'all feel about that?
Wonderful thing in the park. Yep.
Okay, awesome. Well, the instructor will be thrilled, and by all accounts, I heard back from a couple of the participants, and they loved it, love her, loved the way she led the
awesome.
event and everything, so they came away from it feeling just what the purpose was, grateful and uplifted, so that's good. We need more of that these days, for sure, yeah.
Sure.
And that's all I have for that one, then.
Okay. And then we're just going to go in discussion right now, and that's going to be about the Wine, Art, and Music Festival date for 2026.
Right. Initially, we had tentatively scheduled it for Saturday, June 6th, I believe, but baseball has informed me that they will be holding a huge Armed Forces baseball tournament on the weekend of the 6th and 7th and the 13th and 14th. So we have a couple of options here. We can either bump it up to Saturday, May 30th, which is the Saturday after Memorial Day weekend, or we can try to share the park on Saturday, June 13th. Baseball told me that that weekend isn't as crowded as the first weekend of the tournament. So what do you all think about that? The other thing to consider about that second weekend in June, on June 13th, is Westminster has their beer and barbecue stroll on the second Saturday of June every year. And that would take away a lot of definitely our
Very well
vendors,
attended.
yeah.
That's very well attended
It
in
is very
Westminster.
well, it's well attended, it's well established, the breweries go there.
Absolutely.
So, because I know we held the wine festival on that second Saturday
Yep.
one year,
Yep.
and we had zero. I think, did we even have one brewery? I don't
Might have had
know.
one.
Or maybe, yeah, but everybody was
That's
over there.
probably a no-go.
Plus, again, I'm not sure about the park sharing. It's great in theory because you get the crossover attendance and cross-promotion, but traffic-wise, I'm just a little concerned about that because we have to close Park Road,
Yeah.
Park Drive there. And I just don't want,
All right.
anybody hurt.
I mean, May 30th is, yeah, May 30th looks decent, because again, yeah, Memorial Day falls on the 25th, so that would be good to do it on the 30th if anybody has any different thoughts or ideas.
Just, are there any major conflicts on the 30th that we know of?
Not that I know of. And I've already been in discussion with baseball. I said, well, maybe we'll bump it up to May 30th. And that's when we had conversed about maybe sharing it for June 13th. But again, the competition with the beer and barbecue stroll, and I'm just a little hesitant with the traffic going in and out of the park
Well,
with something
yeah,
like that.
pedestrians trying to get to food trucks and, well, yeah.
I remember one of the first years that we held that tournament, I think it conflicted with in the fall with a fall fest, and it was,
Yeah, oh gosh. Right. Well, see, that's the thing, because, you get that crossover attendance, families who are kind of bored, waiting for their kid to go out. They're like, oh, what's going on over there? Oh, I'm going to go over there and check out that event, or whatever kind of thing. But again, I feel that it's not worth the risk of a traffic incident occurring.
That would be tough with parking.
Yeah.
Just,
Right,
as a
the parking
nightmare. Just trying to
accommodation.
get vendors in and out and
Right.
pedestrians with kids running.
Right. Until we get the expansion project completed and we have that Frederick Street access road back to two parking lots back there. Once we have that, then it'll be much better, obviously. But with the constraints on parking and the route of the roads in the park, I don't foresee it being a good situation.
Have vendors that have already signed up for that event?
No, not
Okay.
yet, right. And that's why I'm bringing it up now, because next month, we'll be booking the band, and then we'll start, all the publicity materials, we'll start prepping, and then we get that advanced invitation out to our past vendors. They'd like to join us again. They do get that advance notice, so they can, first come, first serve. They get a better chance. And then, so we need to set the date so we can get moving on the planning of it.
Forget that the band that was at the Fall Fest would love to do additional events with us.
Yeah, they were good. They were a great cover band. And I think that the idea of putting, because we didn't have any chairs in front of the gazebo where the band was playing for the Harvest Festival, but Kathy, was it your idea or the band members just conversing
We're
together?
just conversing,
Yeah.
and they were saying that it was a shame there was no place for anybody to, because people would come over, but they wouldn't stay. And he said, even those hay bales over there, and then it would be still folly.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So we'll do that next year. We'll put out some straw bales for seating in front of the gazebo for people to sit out and enjoy the band. But we could reach out to them. That was Hickory Wind, everyone. Not sure if we want to go that route. Up to you guys. I mean, we can set. I know with the America 250, they're looking for. I think the suggestion had been made of more like I think they had said like a bluegrass sounding band to kind of tie into that, historical aspect somewhat, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure about that. And they also mentioned that Delta blues and well, I mean, we had that kind of with the tribe for the past couple of years, so I don't know if we can really narrow it down
Is
to that.
there, I know everybody's trying to work together on some events to make happen, but, you don't need a big band, but I think they did that something for like Christmas or whatever, like have a band down at the end of Main Street and then have some,
Right.
that's another thing. It doesn't
Right.
have to be a part of our,
Right.
if anybody has any ideas, comments, thinking what might work, what kind of theme? We're talking about the Wine Fest.
Okay,
Well, usually what I do is if we haven't already decided on a band, like, from, that band last year, the band the year before, they were so great, let's bring them back, is I'll gather together like some samples of my band list, and I'll go out, do some research for bands in the region, and then I'll send you YouTube video snippets, or whatever, that kind of stuff, so that way you can listen to their sound, their style, and then we just come together with the consensus of, let's go with this band.
Do a variety
Yeah,
then,
I
and then
think
we can
so.
go from there
Yeah.
as to,
Yeah, I'll curate a
Okay,
variety
like
and send those to
Okay.
you guys, so that way you can just kind of, take a look at what's offered, and then we'll select one and go from there. What do you think?
Out of
Okay.
curiosity,
Yes.
could it also be a DJ, not necessarily just a band?
We could, yeah, we could do a DJ. I think because music is in the name of the festival, I think that's why we've done the bands before, you know. Sometimes we have multiple bands, sometimes we just have one. It just kind of depends. Flow. And that's the other thing. Do we want to do, I guess, of course, it all depends on the pricing. Do we want to do multiple bands next year? Like 2 bands? I would say keep it at 2 bands. Well, the one year we did 3 bands,
And
it
that was
was
wild.
It was mayhem. Yeah, yeah. And-
Wild in a good or bad way?
Well,
Sorry,
kind of
that
it
can,
was-
that can go a
they
couple
only
different ways.
had like, you know, short sets, and then you'd have to wait for them to get off the stage and pack up, and then the new would have to come in, and
So a lot of,
so
a
there
lot
was
of
like
dead
some
air.
delay
okay.
in.
So
yeah.
wild bad.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
It was
yeah.
great. I mean, they all sounded wonderful, but
We did have a DJ try to, you know, fill in, you know, the empty areas there, but for what we were paying the bands, I don't think we got as our value for what we paid because their set times were just too limited because of all the moving and setting up and all that
I
kind
don't
of good
think the
stuff.
stage was ready.
What-
the
That
one
was
year.
last
Oh,
year.
was that last year? Yeah.
Last, not
That's
this
okay.
past one, but the year before, the stage was just, yeah, they hadn't assembled it yet.
They're a little expensive. He's got Amish outlaws out there. I think they're a little
Yes,
expensive.
he's suggested them before. I can't,
I
we
do
can't
love,
afford
I mean, I
them.
do love them.
Yeah, that'd
They're
be great. We'd
They're-
have all kinds of people coming in.
There are some 1 and 2 people playing that are pretty good at the Cellar 75 at the barn. They oftentimes have only 1 or 2 people in there. What we could even consider is like 1 or 2 person and then a band.
Be a much easier transition.
Yeah, it'd be easier
Mm-hmm. yeah.
transition, and also usually bands set their price by how many members. So less members would probably be a lesser price for one than the other.
Okay, we can check
But
that out.
that would be someplace to kind of look at what going on there that are, you know, I stop in there every once in a while, so that's how I've heard some of the people that they've had in there, and they're pretty good.
All right, awesome. I'll check into that. If you remember any of them, email me and I'll check into their pricing and whatnot. All right, so we have resolved to go with Saturday, May 30th. Is that right? Okay. All right, that is
I mean,
what
I'll do some
we'll do.
double checking, just make sure there's no, I don't think there's other big events. Yeah, and we're just gonna have to probably just go with it, because
We did it in May, what was it? I think it was like May, the 21st of May, back in 2022. Because we thought, okay, let's get ahead of all the summer festival
yeah.
season and see if we get more attendees that way. And we did reasonably well that year. Unfortunately, our expenditures were so crazy that year that, you know, we did have to dip into what we had set aside in our budgeted funds. But we're not going to have those same expenditures in 2026 because we're stocked up on our supplies and our VIP goodies and all that kind of good stuff. So, and I think we're still okay on glasses, tasting glasses. So, so we should be okay with that. Even if we go with 2 bands, you know, still be okay on that. Alrighty.
all right. Next is gonna be the discussion of the comprehensive plan survey, results with suggestions.
Right, so I sent out all of that to you all, and you've got printed copies in front of you. Do you want me to go ahead and lead on this, or do you want to?
No, go for it.
Okay, alrighty. So as we can see, and the most requested amenity is a pool / splash pad, mostly a pool. Unfortunately, we do not have the financial resources for that to either construct it or maintain it.
Or a splash pad.
Right, yeah.
I mean, I think the pool is kind of ridiculous.
Yeah,
You know, a lot of people like harp on that every single year, and I'm like,
right, yes.
so you go buy one.
Right.
Go buy a small one and use it.
I think
Right.
it's because there was one, what I hear, because my community has one, is, well, that there was one here at one time, is why, and because we hear all the complaints. As soon as I say I'm from Meads Crossing, that's the first thing out of long-term Taneytown residents out of their mouth is it's not fair.
Oh dear, it's not fair that Meads Crossing has a community pool that's
And
not
that
open
it's not
to
open to
the
the
general
town,
public,
right.
and why we don't have
We
a
actually
pool.
have,
Well, that's
we've
paid for
actually had
through
people
HOA fees,
show
right?
up and refuse to leave.
Yeah, oh boy,
And they had to call authorities to get people to leave.
oh my,
We've had people whose real estate agents told them they could go to our pool.
oh
And-
dear.
I've heard about this, yeah.
we
We've gotten
had-
emails about it.
Yeah, we had one young mother in tears, had just bought a house, she had kids with her, and it was awful.
Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah.
Sad, that's a shame.
Splash pad would be amazing,
Yes.
but
And we were
talking
we were in development with one. We had the designs, we had discussed all the different design elements, we had discussed this and that. We pretty much had it laid out. We'd applied for grant funding, which wasn't awarded that time. And sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, but then it had to be pushed along a couple of years ahead on the capital improvement project list because of the price tag. That was, a couple of years ago, I think, and it was at $640,000 then just for construction, which, again, material costs rising. Who knows what it would be? I would guess 800 at this point. And then it's just the maintenance, the staffing.
right.
A regular bathroom would have to be constructed with a shower, yes, a water fountain, yes, exactly, an emergency button, and just with all of that extra cost involved with that, then that you're throwing it up then to probably 900,000, kind of thing. So
Have you been to the one in Sykesville? Have you seen that one?
I have, and I've spoken with the town manager there and with the Parks and Rec gentleman, and yeah, it's
Fabulous.
a lot. It is, but it's a lot of maintenance, and that's the thing, is that,
Tons of little people.
right, yes,
Not everybody watches their children, so.
well, there's that. But, in addition to the construction costs, as I said, the maintenance, the chemicals, the staffing,
Staffing,
we'd have to have staffing come, that water has to be tested 3 times a day. The bathroom, I'm not even sure how we would handle that, because that's a
Would have to be
big vandalism
accessible for
target.
ADA.
Yes, ADA
So ADA
accessible.
compliance.
All of that, right, just
it's a
all
lot.
of that, yeah. And staff just to go, they'd have to clean the bathroom every day, they'd obviously have to test the water every day. Somebody, would have to be there, security-wise, we'd have to install cameras, of course, to protect ourselves. As well, for liability. Oh, and insurance. Speaking of liability,
Insurance is
yes,
probably
the insurance
crazy.
premiums would go.
I've been hearing
Yeah.
that there's been a lot of crime happening at that park, like cars getting broken into and things, just while they're at the park with
Right.
your kids, so.
Yeah, right. Well, the other thing too is that, and I've spoken with other municipalities who have splash
Lots
pads.
of crime, I've heard of some.
Yeah.
crime, I should say.
Sykesville, Gaithersburg, there was another one in Montgomery. Some affluent areas that have lovely splash pads, but, when you have something nice, other people, want to enjoy it. They come in from outside in the region or what have you. And when I spoke with the town manager at Sykesville, he said he would love for us to put a splash pad in because
Everyone
it
come
would help
here.
take the burden off of him because he
It's
said they come in
overrun,
by
that's what
the
I'm saying,
bus
it's overrun.
loads, yes. And
Field trips there, I think.
yes, exactly. And, so, and then there was talk thrown around of, well, what if we, okay, you have to be a Taneytown resident to use it, show your ID, before you go in. You'd have to have a fence, a gate, a person sitting at the gate, checking. And open for 3 months.
Right.
That's it. So we're paying all of that
And
and the
they're
seasonal
closed on
staff and all of that.
Tuesdays for maintenance.
Right. Right, yeah, yes, yeah. So that's a lot of money that can be spent elsewhere. As we just discussed about the rising costs of the Memorial Park expansion.
We're tied into
Right.
Memorial Park.
Yes,
We're gonna see that through and get that done. And then maybe somebody will gift us some money, you
Oh,
know, and then,
yes.
sure. I'm always waiting on that.
The other one, let's see, so more trails, more things, programs and such for kids of all ages, better visibility, promotion of events, which we know is an issue because we have to rely on social media or we pay for an ad from an outside, entity, a newspaper, to try to get the word out. But,
Yeah.
so we should be getting a city newsletter out with a calendar of events soon, and that would be mailed to the residents, and I think then they'll have the option, residents, to just
Opt in
get,
or out.
paperless or what have you, yeah. So regardless, that will help us get the word out as well.
I think we're also trying to get one of those, like, signs that you can program. I know we've been talking about doing that for a couple of months. I don't know if that, I thought I heard that was happening sometime in the next year. But the idea was to also use that to promote town events and stuff. And
Where would that sign go?
just, I know we've been talking about it for a couple of months, and I think,
Whoever does the sign, tell them to really look at the security of it. Some of the signs are tied into networks at the existing area. If the sign can be hacked at the site, they can change what's on it. They can also get into, we had that problem with some of the schools. PTAs paid for signs. This is in Howard, I teach in Howard County. And,
say we didn't have one for Northwest when I was on the PTO.
and so you have to be really careful of how the information is getting to the sign and whether or not the network that it's on is secured and how easy it is to hack it, because people will try to either get to the
Sure, bad
the
actors are gonna do
city's-
bad actor stuff, yeah.
yeah, try to get to the city's network
Yeah.
and hold it hostage or change the sign.
Yeah.
So be really careful when they bid it to make sure the security aspects in it.
Yeah, I don't know that it's happening for sure yet. I know it's something we've been talking about because in general, we want to add more signage because advertising public events is rough. And, we're trying to make sure that people know about things. And, only so many people pay attention to
Right.
our stuff on social media, so.
We do have the variable LED, a message sign down at Memorial Park. I'm sure everybody has seen that, and we do advertise our events there. But what if people aren't driving in that,
Yeah, I
on
was gonna
that
say,
side of town,
I
that
feel like that's
direction?
at the end of town.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So,
Unless you're specifically going to Memorial Park,
Right.
like,
Right.
right.
miss it. Yeah.
Or Emmitsburg or Thurmont, or whatever.
Yeah.
In that
I mean, I think Lorena tries to get what she can out there. I mean, she even does flyers and puts them at Bollinger,
I think
in
No,
there, so
She,
for.
she does a
I feel
great
like I
job
see-
with
Yeah,
the
I mean,
resources she has.
you know,
It's not,
you're
this
running
isn't a
out of
Lorena
option.
problem.
Yeah.
It's
When
just
I see people ask the day after the 4th of July, does anyone know what day? Third, honey.
Right, I know, yeah. Well, a lot of
Having
people
it
do
here.
say that, oh, I didn't know this was happening, or, oh, I missed it because I didn't know it was happening. And, when you're relying on social media, you're at the mercy of the Facebook algorithms. Who knows, what's
And
gonna
type
show up
that
in somebody's
in.
feed at any given time, so,
Type it in.
yeah.
Can I ask a question? Everybody gets a 3-month water bill.
Uh-huh.
Why can't there be a block on the water bill that says upcoming Taneytown events? The town sends it out, the town, everybody gets one. Why
Well,
couldn't there
that's
be
a good
3
idea.
months?
It would be hard to condense. I mean, we might be able to list one
Yeah, because
event
it's
on
a
there.
postcard. I know.
Yeah, if it were like a letter, I
If
think
it was a
that'd be
letter,
different.
City of Westminster does that for their water bills. It's just a regular piece of paper, and then they just add the events. So there's not, it's a small postcard, and it's just, the font would be Really teeny tiny.
Something
Seems
like that
there's
isn't a
space.
terrible idea, though. Let me talk to Chris and see if we can.
Alrighty, so I think overall, the survey results show that, people do love our parks. We got, I would say, between excellent, good, fair, poor, and not sure, we qualified in that good category across the board. Know that recreational program availability, there's interest in having more of that, but the people who answered this survey, I'm not sure if they were aware of everything that we offer. Again, because of that publicity and getting the word out. So I feel like we do offer quite a bit and a decent variety. From yoga to tennis to, bird watching or what have you. What are your thoughts on that? As far as programming, recreational programming and events.
What you're offering or how you're.
Right,
I feel like you're full.
Yeah.
There's a lot.
that's
For,
true.
for
everything.
For one employee, it'd
Because-
be different.
Yeah, and I think to myself, is there anything that I could add to that? And I almost can't even think of anything. I do think maybe there could be at the skate park, because I feel like the skate park doesn't really does get used. But toddlers in their little, what is it, their balance bikes, a little balance bike event or something like that. I don't know, things like that. Little things, but you're full, this is full.
Well, I know we, 2 or 3 months ago, we were kind of talking about a catalog of stuff like it. I still think a catalog of programming would be good. And it shouldn't just be city stuff, right? If we can over time connect with, who are nonprofits or even for-profits or who are doing anything really, if that can be cataloged in whether it's on the website or I know the Columbia, you mentioned Howard County, I know the Columbia Association does exactly this, and it's stuff that they do, it's stuff that other people who they kind of work with do it, and that's how me and my family, when my oldest was coming up, that's how we found out how to do a lot of stuff, and it was for us it was invaluable, and I know a lot of people use it as a resource. So some kind of model similar to that might be something to work towards over the next year or two. Because I know I do get a lot of complaints about, especially with youth stuff. And I know we've got, outside of sports, we've got awesome sports stuff. But if we can connect with people who are doing other things too, that might be useful. I think we had some stuff in here that said something about young adult stuff or kid stuff. Didn't have enough.
Right, yeah. Yes.
Hard also, because you can put it all out there, and it is up to the community.
Sure, there's personal responsibility for everything. I'm not discounting that. My only very minor pushback on that would be if we can have the information,
Sure.
then we've done what we reasonably can, right? You can't beat somebody, I can't walk up to everybody and beat them over the head with a catalog and be like, here's the thing, right? At some point.
Could there be service hours attached to anything, a service hour opportunity for middle schoolers and
We
high
need that so
schoolers?
bad.
Right.
Those kids need service hours so bad, and their opportunities are so limited.
My kids are involved in, it shows, they do Hapkido, and they have to do service. And a lot of it really isn't service hour stuff, it's just stuff for the community. And then the church that we go to, Taneytown Baptist Church, they get it through there too. So,
We offer service hours for,
with the events and everything,
yes, volunteer events, and also just independent work. in the
Okay.
parks.
Okay.
Raking mulch back under the swings, because it always gets kicked out, sweeping pavilions, picking up litter, pulling weeds on playgrounds.
Okay.
Anything like that, we put it out there.
Okay.
Most of the volunteers that I get for that kind of independent work are court-ordered community service, but hey, I'll
Right.
take it, whatever. And
Whatever you
it-
can
This
get,
kind
sure.
of is.
Yeah.
This is government ordered. They need to have it.
Right,
In
yeah.
order to graduate.
Right,
high
yeah.
school, so-
Yes, yeah, we do put that out there.
Lorena, with you being an office of one person, how much time do you really have to put anything more than, I mean, you put out so much social media, you're doing that all the time. If there was a catalog or there was other things, do we have a budget for it? Is it realistic to expect you to be able to do that as one person?
Well, I think for something like that, I'd probably pull Mackenzie, the executive administrative assistant, in to assist me on composing such a catalog. And then I'd have to have, design associates print it around the corner, so, which, I'm sure they wouldn't have a problem with. Budget-wise, I'm not sure how much that printing would cost, and also
Doesn't have to be
distribution.
printed, it could just be on the website. And then
Well,
that's
that's
just something
true.
that Dan could do, or whoever
That's
whoever
true. Yeah, you
deals
could
with
just
the
get it
website. Like, again, to go back to the Columbia Association, it was like, yeah, they gave you, a catalog, but, I mean, realistically, you could just go to the website and log on and see all the things. You could sign up through it. It was pretty useful.
Right. Yeah, we could do something like that, so.
Tennis or, yeah.
That maybe? Right,
Yeah.
yes.
Well, so my understanding of that is it's going to be a hard copy the first time, and then people are going to have the chance or the option to opt in or out. If they opt out, they can have it like emailed to them, so almost like an email blast. But like my understanding is that it would be including like events that are coming up, programming stuff. This is happening in the town, so it would kind of serve a handful of purposes, and I think we're going to be figuring it out over the course of the first year or two. That's all, yeah.
Right,
Again, the personal responsibility, right? Like,
Yeah.
you can't make people, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink, like,
right.
yeah.
Of course, the other big item that people are looking for is a recreation center. And again, it comes down to funding. Construction of or retrofitting an existing structure to become a recreation center, the cost for that would be daunting. And then
Insurance.
insurance, right, but staffing,
Yeah,
programming, paying the
Electric.
instructors, that kind of thing.
That kind of what the library is.
Right,
Parks, like the library has tons of.
they do. The library has an amazing array of activities and offerings. People just, and the library puts out, a data sheet, it's not quite a brochure or a catalog, but it is, a printout that they send out, and they have it, out everywhere, what have you. So, but again, it's just the people, it's the onus of people actually reading something and then taking action off of reading that. So, like you've alluded, you could go up and knock on people's doors. Hey, why don't you come on out to the Harvest Festival tomorrow, or whatever. But whether they're gonna, do that or not, it's just really comes down to.
a lot of it
What are
is
people
funding.
looking for when they say rec center, out of curiosity? Like, that can mean a lot of things. Are you just talking about a big box with like, a basketball court and like a track or something, or are they talking about something like way more comprehensive to?
I've heard
I
both.
wasn't even sure like
I've
what
heard,
the scale of that
just
is.
something basic for kids just to go to
drop-in
and
center,
hang out
yeah.
if they don't want to be in the parks or go to the library, that kind of thing. And then I've heard the other extreme of the full shebang.
Like a
of,
Y?
Like, yes, exactly, just like a Y or a copper mine. where you
Without the
go-
pool.
Right, right, with or
A
without
Y
a
is a
pool,
$30
what have you,
million
right.
project, so.
Yes, yeah, with the programming and yoga classes and, line dancing, and who knows what, that kind of thing, so.
I have a question. The senior center, that's owned by Carroll County, right?
That is actually, yes, you are correct. That is owned by Carroll County government, and they do have activities there, but I think because people hear senior, they, they don't.
Most of their activities are they're during the day, because I can't go to most of them because I still work.
Yeah.
What is the chances that we could run programs out of that center at night?
Well, we could, but again, who's doing that?
And the county's not going to pay somebody to stay, to
No.
hang around the building.
I know
No.
that, like, there's
they won't.
instructors that, they set the amount that they want for a class and they collect it, but I guess we would still have to have insurance on it, though. Yeah.
But isn't that what Carroll County Rec and Parks do? They have like the
They do.
catalog like you're talking about, Nick.
Yes.
They have that and have different things at like different senior centers as well, so.
That is
we can
correct.
Piggyback on
Right.
that.
Yeah,
I
but
know.
I
and
mean,
think
that's,
they can budget that for their
Yeah.
time. I don't think that we're
Right.
at that point.
no, we've,
Oh, and I know they are trying to, I think, offer more there. Every so often. So they are trying to. But as for like holding something, you mean for like teens or younger people there,
Well,
or just in general?
Just in general, that, for example, I go,
Zumba and
I
in the evening.
when I play pickleball, if I play pickleball for Carroll County, at the Carroll County Center, I pay $60. But if I go to the city of, well, it's for 10 sessions.
okay,
If I play for the city of Westminster, because I live in Taneytown, I don't pay 60, I pay 75. So,
Oh, the non-resident upcharge?
yes.
yeah.
But one takes place at the health building, and the other is I call it the castle, I don't know what the real name of it is. But those kind of things that were driving in there, I thought, could we, I know they play pickleball, they do line dancing at the senior center, they do a bunch of things there that they have the facility. That's why I was wondering.
Right, yeah.
Carroll County would let us piggyback off of an existing building.
Just like that building, there's also the two schools in town here. I think we could use their gym off hours or weekends.
Right,
I don't know that they'd take on that liability.
Yeah.
Like they, like when I was on the PTO, the principal was, for any event, had really, because they have a lot of restrictions for like what they can and can't allow, and like you have to have all kinds of like certificates of insurance, and like it's just a lot of red tape to get anything in the school. It's unfortunately not as easy as just going to the principal and being like, hey, can we use that for something? So.
And a lot of them have basketball and softball practice and all that kind of stuff all winter long, so this would seem to just dovetail to that.
right. The thing is with our local schools, because space and resources are so limited, they are burdened as well by outside entities, the sports organizations, other entities looking for space to use. And so, yeah, I'm not sure that we would have, I'm not sure that we would have any deference shown to us as far as, space allotment there, so.
You also have the paperwork of, even if you offer these classes, you've got to have someone to be able to process the sign up and the class and all of that. That's
Right.
a whole nother,
Yes, that's the other aspect, again, is the staffing and the, who's leading it, who's taking care of it and all that. So, I think that's just gonna have to be a future consideration. The other thing, I mean, one of the reasons why our funding is so limited and why we're so dependent on grants is that, we have a restricted fund that we are able to use for development, park development and improvement projects. Those funds come in from developers when they pay park impact fees, when they pull building permits for each residential house. No development, no money coming in for parks. We don't get any park impact fees. With everything that we have done and caught up on and improved, I think we've got $200,000 left in our restricted fund account. So, and we'll be using most of that on the Memorial Park expansion, for sure. So then we're gonna kind of be at a somewhat of a standstill until development occurs again somewhere in order for us to get those park impact fees to keep up with the growing needs then of the city's parks and the park system. When we don't have that funding available, then we pull out of the general funds, and that comes from the majority taxpayer revenue, taxes. So that's why I always state, when we have to repair or replace something because of vandalism, or kids throwing those rocks, the riprap rocks that bolster up the shore out at Roberts Mill into the pond, or whatever. That's everyone's taxpayer money. That's their money. And when they're saying, "Oh, just let kids be kids," you're paying for it. I mean, okay.
Our tax receipts are not high.
Right. Yeah. So, so we are limited on that. So unfortunately, I mean, obviously, if we had unlimited funds and we could hire more staffing, boy, we could take care of a lot of these things, but unfortunately, we're limited. But I am pleased that we got such, high marks from the community for our parks.
Was one note I had that
Yes.
looked like a potential opportunity for improvement. Facilities available, either fair or poor. Was that like 44% of respondents said that? What are they talking about here?
37 and 32. 37%
Yeah,
on good and 32%
Yeah.
on
it was-
fair.
This was the only category that was below
I'm
50%.
thinking, I'm not sure what the delineation is on facilities available. That could be sports fields, that could be parking availability, that could be, lack of a rec center or pools, so those facilities obviously aren't available. That's my,
So it was just super open-ended, it wasn't like more,
yeah,
okay.
it
that's
was
not
definitely
unfortunately
very,
useful.
very open-ended. Unfortunate, not like, the breakout of the recreational program availability. And then question number 18, which was on 192 of the comp plan, which 3 areas do you think the city should focus its parks, recreation, and conservation efforts in the future? Number 1 was improving existing parks and playgrounds, which that's what we're focusing on. And then expanding recreation programs and services. Let's see, what do we have? Building an indoor recreation center with a gymnasium. We've discussed that. Developing walking, biking connections between schools, parks, and neighborhoods. Great idea. Hopefully that can be executed with procurement of easements and deeds and
Yep,
such.
that's something that we're actively,
Yes, yeah,
working towards.
to get connected through.
yeah, we want to try and make the city more walkable over the next 10 years.
Yeah. And, let's see, protecting open space and natural resources, which we try to do as much as possible. And I think those were the highest ones. Did I miss any? Developing trails and greenways. Yeah. So I think we're on a good trajectory with that. And one of the things that were mentioned was increased ADA accessible equipment and facilities. And that we are definitely trying to do as we are replacing components of, or replacing entire playgrounds, is making sure that they are accessible completely, so that people of all abilities can use all of the play equipment.
I think
and
you've done a
such.
fabulous job with doing that, Lorena, making sure that there's, something for everyone.
I mean, I think we're doing okay. They didn't get any specific suggestions on, like recreational programs. Have you heard anything, Nick? Bill, have you heard anything from the Planning Commission's viewpoint about specific offerings?
No, when I've asked people, it's just more,
Oh, just
and
more.
Yeah, which is never super helpful.
Right.
It's like, oh, okay, well, let's see what we can do. I'll go look over here and see
Right.
if there's something that I can maybe throw your way. Like, I think I
Right.
threw some your way a while ago, and that was as far as I basically got on that, so I don't know.
Yeah, well, again, I mean, we are a body of consensus, so if you guys have any ideas about any kind of programs we can put together, that will be a survey question. The beginning of next year, in January, we will be releasing our next survey. We like to do them every other year, just on parks, not on the city as a whole, but just on Parks and Rec, and get those results back. So we'll make sure that that is one of the questions. What specific recreational programs would you like to see offered? Do you have suggestions for recreational programs? See what comes back from that. Hopefully we'll get some defined suggestions, and then we can move forward on seeing what we can accommodate for that.
Yeah. Does anybody want to add any additional comments on this topic? And we're good with discussing everything with the comprehensive plan?
Yes.
Everything? Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
yep.
I know that you had some, points that you were sending back to.
Right, to Summer Consulting, the subcontractor from Aero on the comprehensive plan. I did review the entire thing from the Parks and Rec perspective and submitted a document that had all of some suggested corrections and other suggestions and questions. So I'm hoping
Okay.
that those will be will be addressed in the next draft that is presented to the Planning Commission.
Okay.
Do you think that it's missing anything material or could be improved in any way from a Parks and Rec perspective? Like, I know the notes that I saw were mostly like, this is wrong, this is grammar problems, like, this particular piece of data isn't correct. But I don't remember if there was anything that you thought was missing from it, like, that
No,
could
I
make
think-
the comp plan better.
Yeah, I think they covered the major points in a comprehensive plan. I had worked a little bit on the comprehensive plan update for Hampstead when I was working for Hampstead, and I think this draft is a better one than that one. I mean, not or anything, but I'm just saying, ours looks better. But and they used a ton of pictures from. I think they went on the Parks and Rec Facebook page and just they were like, yeah,
They did.
you could tell.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's
I
awesome.
recognized all the pictures. I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. That's from whatever. So I did compliment them on their selection of photographs for their comprehensive plan.
All right. Anybody have anything additional? Okie dokie. All right, we're just gonna jump to reports. Do we have anything from mayor and council that needs to come our way?
Nothing Parks and Rec related. I mean, if you guys have any questions, I can try and answer them. If not, I can go back, ask who I need to ask, and get you the information that you're looking for. And I don't think we really have a whole lot to report to you guys right now.
Okay. No? Okay. Board member comments, discussions. I'm just going to go down the list. Do you have anything, Natasha? She's so quiet. Jerry? No.
I think I passed.
Okay. All right. Well, thank
Amazed that she does such a diverse, has such a diverse repertoire of things she puts out there, and how many of them she's able to handle.
We're
Kudos to
really
you.
lucky to have her, yeah.
Well, thank you all, but it's a team effort, and that's why I rely on you guys so much. You're a wonderful resource, and I am thrilled that the powers that be back in the day created the Parks and Rec Advisory Board. So we have a good council liaison, so we'll be moving in the right direction, and we'll be able to do even more when we get some
Yeah.
funding.
you. Now we have a tight-knit group, larger than ever, so a little bit more collaboration, so glad to have everybody on board. As far as, well, I'm just going to put you on the spot, Bill. Any public comments?
I'm glad I came, you know,
We're glad to have you.
lived here
Yeah,
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
don't we all?
right,
yeah,
yes.
sure thing.
Appreciate you being here.
Yeah,
Thank
thank you
you.
for coming.
It's gotta be different than the planning commission too, we're not getting yelled at about a Taco Bell, right?
Oh, dear.
It's-
Yeah,
All right, well, we might just do that then, show up, you know, at your meeting.
there we go.
Mix it up a little bit. So with that, we're just going to go. Our next meeting is scheduled for November 12th. That's going to start at 6:30. That's going to start with the Athletic Association first, and then it's going to roll right into our meeting from there. And of course, as we stated before, just give you a heads up that obviously December, we will not be meeting because we usually have a lot of stuff going on. Usually we're doing pictures for the decorating contest and the tree lighting, so that'll keep us busy in December, maybe give us a little bit of break before we get back in. So if nobody has any questions with that, I will take a motion to adjourn. Or we can stay.
I second.
Who's the first?
Oh, I first.
We
Sorry.
got a motion.
I'll
Do I-
second it.
We have a second. All right, all in
First
favor?
and second, okay?
All right, well, there you go.
Who was the second? Wait, all right, so you did Kathy, okay.
It was
gotcha.
Kathy, yeah.
Okay, all right,
Okay.
awesome.
Don't write that down. Don't write that in there, okay?
She first and seconded. So all in favor of adjourning, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, we're adjourned. We will see you in November.
Thank you, Bill, for coming.
Thank you.